I can give you over 40,000 reasons.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Tyrant's Mythic Difficulty walkthrough for Halo 4, aka LASO, Legendary All Skulls on, and today we're doing the mission Shutdown. This is certainly one of the easier missions to do, a great way to train for Mythic or LASO. It's almost as easy as Reclaimer. So go ahead and grab a DMR and a railgun and hop into this sweet Pelican armed with a super powerful Spartan laser and a Vulcan cannon.
Main thrusters, check. Auxiliary boosters, check.
This is not the first time in the Halo series that you're able to drive a Pelican. We were also able to do it in Halo Reach on the mission New Alexandria if you performed the special Easter egg.
It'll be okay.
Now, there's a little shortcut here that makes this mission much easier than it was intended to be. If it weren't for this shortcut, it would probably be one of the toughest missions in the game. Now, you can see where I'm pointing with the Spartan laser right here. That's where you want to go. Fly right to Tower 3, ignore the other two towers entirely. You do not need to go to them. Those two towers are a real pain to fight. Fortunately, they are completely unnecessary. So we're going to squeeze the Pelican through these little, I guess, crevices. Careful of the landing. There we go. Jump out and jetpack boost up through here. Crouch if you need to. Just go right through these doors and check this out. We're already in Tower 3. Now, one of the things I really do love about this mission is you can do plenty of fighting. There's lots of enemies to fight here. At Tower 3, there are roughly 30 Covenant. 2 hunters, 3 elites, and the rest are grunts and jackals. There are several platforms here. As you can see, the tower is being rearranged by the didact. You can either sprint jump over here or use the jetpack to boost. Now that objective icon is going to stay lit because it knows that you haven't gone to the first 2 towers yet and still wants you to go to those towers. But we're not going to do that. So you're going to use the DMR against the grunts and the jackals. You can use the railgun against elites, although it won't typically kill them. Sometimes the force of it, thanks to cowbell, will knock them off the ledge. You can also use the railgun to kill the turrets, or the stationary cannons, basically knocking them off their bases. Personally, I like to stick around for a little bit because each time you kill a grunt, another one will take its place. Now, sometimes an elite will take its place instead, and that's typically when I use the railgun. Now, on Legendary, the railgun's a very powerful weapon. It can usually kill an elite in 1 hit, unless it's a general, or should I say a warrior in Halo 4, in which case it usually takes 2. You can use this platform right here to clear out the enemies of the 2 platforms next to you. They're composed of grunts, jackals, and each one has an elite. Now, once you've killed enough of them, they'll usually retreat to the center platform right there. And they'll move back and forth. Both of the elites have storm rifles. They're very simple to kill, and you should, at this point, be very seasoned with killing elites if you've been following my guide so far through Dawn and Requiem. Now, I like to wait for an elite to get on there because it's a lot easier to close the distance. They typically won't get off the turret. You do not necessarily have to hold the railgun down. It doesn't take long for it to charge, and as you can see, we took care of the turret, so no one will be getting back on it. Now, before we engage the elite, again, I highly recommend taking out the other enemies first. Now, it should be noted that we have light rifles right here, and as I mentioned in my Forerunner guide, light rifles and carbines are excellent for taking down elites from a distance. So make sure you've got plenty of cover. The elites seem to have stronger range with the turret than grunts. Now, the light rifle, of course, is more powerful than the carbine in terms of taking down an elite shield. It only takes 2 clips instead of the carbine's 3. And boom, the elite is down. So that is the first of 3 elites. The third elite is a warrior with a fuel rod gun on the far side. We won't worry about him until later. So again, there are really 2 methods of dealing with the elites here. You can either run up and try to do a little dance with them, melee combat, try to land that assassination, or you can kill them from a distance with the light rifle. Sometimes they can be a bit dodgy because of the tough luck skull, so if you're having trouble killing them with the light rifle, you can easily just move in for the kill via melee or assassination.
Is the only way we're going to reach the didact.
But of course, it's much safer to kill them from a distance. I believe there are a total of 7 platforms here. The first one, the 2 beside it, which have the grunts and the jackals, and each one having an elite. There is a jackal platform. There is the platform with the fuel rod general, or warrior, I should say. And there is the hunter platform. That is the final one. And I'm going to show you a really nifty way to kill the hunters as well. Something I have not seen anyone try yet. So basically right now I'm using the jump... I always want to say jump jet, but jetpack to see if I can get some elevation to get these other enemies. Now, the term jump jet actually comes from Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun. I'm a huge fan of that game as well, which is why I tend to use that term quite a bit. So there's the elite. Let's see if we can go in for the kill. Use that catch skull to basically close the distance to him. He's a lot less dangerous when he's throwing grenades, and as you can see, he went down pretty easily. And that is the 2 top methods for dealing with elites in this game. You'll be using a similar technique against the Prometheans. More specifically, the Promethean Knights. You'll wait for them to get into a grenade launching animation, and then you'll spin around them, wheel around, and land that assassination. It is by far the most effective way of dealing with Promethean Knights. And in fact, on Mythic, it may be one of the only ways of dealing with them, aside from knocking them off of ledges with the gravity hammer. So you've got carbines over here. Again, that is another method for dealing with the elite general, assuming that tough luck isn't making him too dodgy. You have tons of ammunition here. There is also a... Well, I forgot about you. I'll use this jackal to get my shields back. But as I was saying before, there is also an incineration cannon and a fuel rod gun, or a fuel rod gun crate, to be more specific. So at this point, we're just clearing out all the enemies, all 30. You can always hit the back button to check which weapon you are currently wielding, as well as which armor ability you are currently equipped with. So there are 3 grunts, or 4, and an elite warrior. And he's got the fuel rod gun. He's a little bit tough to deal with. Now, fortunately, you are a bit more durable with Mythic and Tilt, but so is he. Elites aren't quite as dangerous as they were in Halo Reach. I've noticed that a lot of times, if you try to run up here, sometimes they'll run to the other side. allowing you to close the distance pretty quick. Now, the great thing about fighting this guy in close quarters is he won't fire his fuel rod gun at you because it's a heavy weapon. He'll just try to kick you. And the kicks of elites in Halo 4 are far less lethal than they were in Halo Reach, but you still want to have relatively good shields before you engage one in combat. Or that is the optimal decision. Sometimes you may not have a choice, but as you can see, he went down very easily. All 3 elites are dead. At this point, I'm just going to see if there are any other enemies alive, clean up a little bit. And I'm going to take the fuel rod gun. Now, you could try to take out both hunters the conventional way with the fuel rod gun and the incineration cannon. I found that on Mythic, they are so beefed up that you could use all fuel rod gun ammo, all incineration cannon ammo, and you can usually take out one hunter that way, but the other one will still be left standing. So a much easier method, and a much quicker method, is getting them close to the edge right here. And we're going to use cowbell to our advantage, along with the fuel rod gun. This is really the only time in the game I think I ever pick up the fuel rod gun. But we're going to run over here. They're at the edge. Use the fuel rod gun to launch them off. So the first one's down. Use the jetpack to help you dodge their fuel rods. And boom, both hunters are down. That didn't take any time at all.
Chief, head for one of those locations. Bringing those towers
And I believe that
down
is the first time
only
I've
way
seen
we're
that
going to
method
reach the
used.
Didact.
So now that we're heading up to the top level, make sure that you have either a light rifle or a carbine. At this point, you're probably out of light rifle ammo anyway. And this is the last major section. This is really the only place where things can go wrong. So you've got 2 shade turrets to worry about. We're going to deal with this first one right here. Take out the grunt. Usually another one will take his place. Sometimes another grunt will show up to take that one's place as well. You want to try to clear the skies as much as possible so you can decrease the amount of firepower that's being directed your way. So I'm waiting for that second grunt now. There he is. Gotta love that grunt birthday party skull. It's a party every time. Now I'm waiting just a few seconds to see if that third one shows up. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. Just remember to always keep an eye out for him. The second shade turret is over here on the right hand side. This one will not have a replacement grunt. So it looks like we're set. There is one elite over here. And again, you can use either the plasma pistol or the carbine to deal with them. Now, unfortunately, the plasma pistol isn't nearly as powerful in Halo 4. It's been nerfed severely. But I'm going to use the plasma pistol just to kind of wear his shields down a little bit and finish him off with the carbine. Look how easy that was. That elite was no trouble at all. So you've got a couple of banshees parked over here, and essentially what you're going to do is jump in, dive down beneath the platforms to avoid fire from the banshees, and rush right to the end. This is the safest method to use. And it seems to be the most consistent. Watch out for the elites with fuel rod guns as well as the shade turrets right there. Park your banshee up here against the door. This will cause the door below to open and quickly sprint through. You want to run as fast as you can. At this point, the level's pretty much over. Again, I consider this to be the second easiest mission to perform on Mythic Difficulty, or LASO, and it's an excellent way to be seasoned in the Covenant.
Tapping into this fire's central net.
That about wraps things up. If you liked this video, please rate, comment, and subscribe. I'd also like to bring a very special shout out to my fans today because we are now at 1 million views on MythicTyrant.com. Thank you all so much for the support. Again, if you like my videos, please rate, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned every single week for more Halo videos. Be sure to check out the written portion of the guide on halo.bungie.org. And as always, I'm the Tyrant, signing off.
Yes.
There are several liches moving in formation towards the Didact ship. We're only going to have one shot at this. Okay?